Well, speaking of Sony, this is a good time to start talking about, since we were talking about Apple's failures, why don't we go ahead and talk about the failures of the PlayStation 5?
We're just going through all the failures of
There was a lot of tech failures this week, unfortunately, and me being a tech enthusiast, I was very saddened by all of it because this is not a good year for gaming.
I don't think it's a good year for anything. let's just boil it down to that.
Yeah, it's not a. I mean, it's a good year in terms of innovation, but it's a horrible year in terms of stock.
Innovation in what sense? Because I struggle to see.
The second generation of ray tracing with the RTX 30 series is just amazing. It's beyond comprehension at this point.
It's a diamond in a rough, I would say.
Yeah.
That's like a one shining glimmer in a
And
sea of
the
black.
next generation consoles have definitely, how do I say that, blown away my expectations of what I thought they were going to be, and it's actually made me feel like I'm ready for the next generation. And it's surprising because I looked at the Xbox Series S, and I think it's going for $299. That could be a low budget PC killer. If you're somebody who only buys a PC for video games, doesn't care about the internet, doesn't care about Discord, all that, you just want to play games, and you're doing it on a budget, you buy the Xbox Series S, and you're set. Like that is easily a PC killer.
Well, there's one thing I know that Microsoft's not innovating, and it's the branding for Xbox. The damn names keep getting dumber, I feel.
Oh, for each generation.
Yeah, it's like, why not just go with the Xbox 2 or the Xbox, something simple that PlayStation's do.
I think their mindset is we don't want to follow Sony, so we want to make it seem so much more out there.
The Xbox Series 7X.
X7 capital Z.
I remember when everyone was saying like, oh yeah, the Xbox 720 is coming out like, what, 12 years ago?
Yeah. It was, I mean, that seemed to make sense at the time because that was the next logical step, but it's obviously to them it wasn't.
Yeah, they're like these peons. They think we're playing this stupid game. Nuh-uh.
But it's kind of sad to see Microsoft in this game of cat and mouse with PlayStation because I think Xbox is going to lose this console war this generation by a wide margin.
I think so because I feel like the problem with this innovation, with like especially with branding and what they're doing, I feel they're losing it in the marketing sense because I feel like with PlayStation it's so clear. We have each generation. With Xbox, like, where are we at now? Yeah. It's like splintered off into branches and you don't know where to go.
Yeah. It really hurts them when they're opening. Have you seen their whole presentation?
No, I didn't.
They opened their presentation, or actually, maybe they didn't open with this. I don't know if I'm remembering this incorrectly. They had a bit of Halo, and that was sort of their main, like, thing that they were pushing.
The Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah. If you're a Halo fan, that was amazing. But if you're not, then you look at it and go, is this it? Like, where's the good stuff? Like, where's something that I care about? Where Sony has such a huge catalog from Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
I feel like that's the big one. That's the big thing.
That's the big thing. And then the release of the new God of War, everyone was losing it with that one.
Yeah.
And that was Sony came out swinging, and that's what pushed them over the edge. Which, from what I'm hearing, it kind of sucks that PlayStation is going to be so good because it sounds like you're going to have to still pay for online. Which,
when did they implement that? Because I know with the PS3, the online functionality was free. That's the only reason
it was during PS4 they had to start paying. And that's why I switched to a PS3, simply because you didn't have to pay online, and Xbox you did. Yeah. Xbox this generation, there are a bunch of reports saying that they're moving away from online pay.
See, I feel that's the smart way to go, because I think you'll have people just switching to the one that's not paying for online.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's actually not the case.
Damn.
People are still looking at PS5 as if... Because the Xbox, they just don't have the titles. They just don't have the innovation. Another major factor of this is this PS5's controller, DualSense. Basically, the Switch has the rumble feature, the HD rumble.
Yeah.
They're putting that into the PS5 controller. The Xbox controller is just the same. It's just the same
The
controller.
DualShock, right?
Yeah, it's just the same controller. They haven't innovated. Maybe later down the line they'll make a custom controller with rumble, HD rumble.
Yeah.
But as of right now, the only thing that they've innovated on is the console itself, and it's just a little more powerful than the PS5, and it's about the same price.
So where do you think that leaves Nintendo? Do you think they're not even in that kind of space? Do you think they're their own separate special thing where people
I think Nintendo is trying their hardest not to get involved. It almost seems like that's what their goal is. They want to do things at their own pace, and because of Nintendo is looked at as such a brand of, I guess, sort of like in a different light than the PlayStation and the Xbox, people will always flock to Nintendo no matter what. And from what I'm hearing about the next gen Switch, I'm definitely going to be switching over. They had reports saying that the next generation of Switch needs to be quote unquote 4K ready. So
that's a tough word. That's a tall word.
That's going to be really interesting. And they said their plan has to be that the console needs to either be a little bigger or the same size as the Switch now with a bigger screen, which I'm going to love.
Can you imagine holding a giant ass Switch in your hands? Like,
I thought it looked stupid at first before I bought it, but when I bought the Switch, I was surprised. I was like, this isn't as big as I thought it was going to be. And it was
could you
actually
imagine
really,
a bigger one?
A bigger one would be like, it would be weird at first.
Cake.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
But I want to buy an Xbox because also, I don't know if you know this, but next generation, they're going to be bumping title prices $10. So originally you paid $59.99 on average for a AAA title.
Yeah.
Now it's $69.99.
Why is that?
Simply because it seems like that's what companies want to be the standard now. I'm guessing it's an economy thing because video games are becoming more and more popular. They're gonna see that it's like people are gonna keep buying these AAA titles no matter what.
Yeah.
So if we just bump it up $10 more, nobody's gonna care.
I think you'll see a backlash because I think people would care to see like why the fuck is it 70 now?
Yeah.
I'm already paying. For me, paying 60 itself is already sort of a bit much.
Yeah.
So bumping it up to 70, it's gonna rustle up some feathers.
Yeah.
Rustle some jimmies up.
And unfortunately, it's not just a thing of it's exclusive to consoles. Once they start releasing these games, you'll see it on Steam for the exact same price.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that will be the standard. I don't know if people are going to rebel enough to get this changed, but
I don't think they will.
Yeah. And it's just, it sucks because it pushes me even more towards something like the Xbox where I don't have to pay online.
Yeah.
Because I'm already paying more for these games.
So you got to pay for online. You got to pay more for the games.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I feel like they want it to become the standard, especially in the gaming industry, is like loot crates and stuff. Yeah. The fact that you to keep paying and buying more and more. Win. Exactly. And it's so scummy. It's just like you're money hungry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the video game industry is one of the biggest industries in the world. So they're kind of at a point where they can just sort of do whatever the hell they want, which is it's shitty. It's shitty, but it's rough. That's just how it probably going to be for quite a while, especially with this generation of consoles and technology and all that.